As we have reported extensively, tens of thousands of Republican voters continue to leave the Republican Party each and every week since the January 6th insurrection. Republicans are fed up. They don't like the image of the Republican Party. But one thing that's been overlooked, at least in our discussions of this, is the fact that at heart, these people are still conservative. So new reports have come out saying, yes, these people are leaving the Republican Party, but they are not jumping on the Democratic bandwagon. In short, the Democratic Party is not materially benefiting from this mass exodus from the Republican Party. That's not all that shocking. Although we've seen obviously some of the anti-Trump Republicans like the Lincoln Project folks, they've gone over to the Democratic side, but I think it's because they understand the establishment of the Democratic Party is also very conservative. But the average voters out there, the ones who are leaving the Republican Party, they're not just going to the Democrats, they are effectively politically homeless, is what they're being described as. Still conservative. They don't know where to go. They know they're not Democrats, but they know they don't want to be associated with Republicans anymore. So the big question now is, where do they go? And I think there's two options. Well, before I get to the two options, let's just explain why starting a third party isn't really going to happen with these individuals, because this is not a majority of the Republican Party, right? You do have tens of thousands, enough to kind of swing some local elections here or there, which will be great, but they don't have the numbers or the apparatus behind them to create a viable third party. So that's why one of the two options is that they join an already existing third party, one that still has some conservative beliefs, but maybe not quite the wacko-ness of the Republican Party today. And that would be the Libertarian Party. Very conservative, obviously. You know, free market this, free market that, even though all of their beliefs have basically been shot to hell. So the Libertarians are really not a very serious party because their own belief system is in and of itself contradictory to itself. But that's where a lot of them could likely end up. But I think the biggest option for most of these folks is just rejoin the Republican Party when everything dies down. I think that's what we're going to be looking at here. You're going to have some, obviously, who do join the Democratic Party. We've, again, already seen some of that. But most of these individuals who are disenchanted or feel disenfranchised, I guess, with the Republican Party, they're going to go back. Because we see this happen all the time, not with voters, but with advertisers. Think about that for a second. Whenever you have a Fox News host go out there and say something completely just nutso, whether it's something against a certain race or religion or whatever it is, you see this mad call for advertisers to leave the show. and they do. You know, Tucker Carlson's a great example. He says horrible things, all the advertisers leave, everybody celebrates that he has no advertisers, then a couple months down the road, what happens? All the advertisers came back because the heat died down. And I think that's what we're looking at with the Republican Party. It's the same thing, right? Because Republican, Democrat, these are just brands. These are brands. Because in America, we turn everything into some kind of corporate thing. So they're brands. And that's what they're doing. They're going to lie in wait. They'll be independents for a while, maybe even a year. But they'll still have plenty of time to switch their voter registration back to Republicans just in time to vote in primaries in the 2022 midterms. And if they don't feel like doing that, they'll be back by 2024. Unfortunately, I believe that is what is going to happen. Of course, all of this depends on what happens with this internal struggle with the Republican Party. Because if they do decide to go the way of Trump, some of these people won't come back. And those are going to be the ones I think that are going to go libertarian. But if the party kicks out the Trumpism, they're all coming back, and then we're back to square one.